Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. The system does produce corruption. I think implicit in the system is corruption. Whether or not you can run for public office, and it costs a great deal of money to run for the United States Senate, you have to go to those people who have money, and they always want something. You know that unless you accidentally agree with the position taken by the person or group that has the money, that you run the risk of deciding whether or not you're going to prostitute yourself to give the answer you know they want to hear in order to get funded to run for that office. See, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talk about it. But what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son.
So that was the current president of the United States back in 1974, before many of you were born, discussing corruption in politics and the fact that when you take money, they always want something. Biden even admitting on the record, out loud, I mean, this is real footage, this isn't a deep fake, that he too was willing to prostitute himself, but they told him, come back when you're older. Well, spoiler alert, he's older now, and he did come back. Today's video, we're going to be going down the rabbit hole, trying to understand exactly why the White House, the Democrats, President Biden refused to even mention the word Tesla, giving them an active cold shoulder, completely snubbing the company, despite having campaigned aggressively on the environment, electric vehicles, and a sustainable future. The more time passes, the more ridiculous this insane snubbing and active gaslighting of the American public from the Biden administration becomes. There's a lot to discuss in this video and some very interesting new developments, so let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. First, let's look at the latest development in this insane saga. I'll let the footage speak for itself. It's truly unbelievable. You hosted a meeting with the president and a bunch of CEOs from various industries this week to talk about Build Back Better. And you invited the CEO of Ford and GM. And President Biden did tweet out a video of himself with Mary Barra of GM talking about building electric vehicles in this country. I don't know if you are on Twitter, if you noticed that Elon Musk responded to it. He said, starts with a T, ends with a A, ESL in the middle, and then went on, to respond to a few other people in maybe a little more insulting way around the president. Why do you not invite Musk to these meetings, this one and others that you've had specifically on electric vehicles, when they are on the front lines of producing electric vehicles and the biggest player in this country? And now, ladies and gentlemen, prepare as we watch this swamp creature completely dodge the question like Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix.
Well, I would say this was a great meeting. We had CEOs from sectors across the economy, not just the automotive sector, but the technology sector, the industrial sector, the healthcare sector, all across. And what was really interesting about the perspectives that the CEOs were bringing were that all of them were underscoring that things like investing in childcare or in education and early education are core economic issues right now, given our need to get people back into the workforce, our need to help more people who have caregiving responsibilities actually work. And so that these issues are really core economic issues, even though sometimes they're labeled as social spending. Look, when it comes to electric vehicles, we want the United States to be the place where the electric vehicle revolution is driven and where we gain more of the global export share, and we're creating more good jobs here in America. So that's not about any one individual company. That's about, from the policy side, laying the foundation so that here in the United States, companies feel confident to invest, expand, and build, not only assemble those vehicles, but build the batteries and the other components that go in a way that creates good jobs for communities. Yeah. So we're looking at this.
That's what he's doing.
Well, we're looking at anyone who's investing and helping move the United States and position the United States to be a leader in the electric vehicle revolution, somebody that we're working with. We obviously have a variety of different ways of engaging with companies and CEOs. But from our perspective, we want the United States to be the place where electric vehicles and their components are built. and to the ultimate end benefit of the workers and the families and the jobs and the economic opportunity that'll create.
What a steaming pile of human excrement. Seriously, does that not make your skin crawl? Ugh, it's just horrible. Now, some people might argue, oh, he's just doing his job, he doesn't want to piss off Brandon, blah, 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 blah. Look, I understand where you're coming from, but for somebody to be so spineless and so unethical, they're willing to do this, to actively avoid mentioning the name of this company, refuse to answer any direct questions about why they're actively being snubbed. Something seriously off with the ethical compass. This snubbing and active gaslighting of the American public hasn't escaped the attention of many folks online, YouTubers, people on Twitter, many others as well. Latest example of this, petition on change.org with almost 50,000 signatures. In short, hey President Biden, given how you said you cared about the environment, electric vehicles, sustainability, the whole campaigning on that environment thing, and then you get into office and now suddenly you won't even say the word Tesla, the leader, the pioneer in this space who's done more than any other company by orders of magnitude. Would it be possible, once you've removed the UAW's eggplant from the back of your throat, if you could at all bring yourself to maybe at least say the word Tesla, if not acknowledge their leadership, their innovation, their inspiration in the EV space? That'd be really great. And it's not just the change.org petition. We now also see somebody with relatively deep pockets, I assume, putting up some billboards in Times Square. This is a tweet from Elon Musk responding to some of the hoo-ha with the Biden administration snubbing Tesla. Elon tweeted, starts with a T, ends with an A, ESL in the middle. Just say it. And now this conversation has made its way to Bloomberg. I quote, Tesla who? Biden can't bring himself to say it, and Musk has noticed. Tesla's CEO, by the way, very accurately, says the president is a, quote, damp sock puppet in human form. Shout out to the people controlling Biden. Bloomberg article goes on to mention that Joe Biden calls himself a car guy, but won't go as far as to say the word Tesla. Curious. Here are some quotes from Brandon. I hope you can hear them over the UAW's eggplant simultaneously in the back of his throat. Quote, I meant it when I said the future was going to be made right here in America. Companies like GM and Ford are building more electric vehicles here at home than ever before. What did GM do last quarter? 26 electric vehicles? I think Ford was around 26,000, something like that. These are rounding errors compared to how many vehicles Tesla produced and delivered in the United States last year. Musk tweeted after the White House event Thursday with Barra and Ford CEO Jim Farley, to which Tesla was not invited, that, quote, Biden is treating the American public like fools. Completely agree with this, mind you. There's enough out there that it seems to be effective. Within Tesla, there's a feeling among some executives that all of this is just politics. Biden will never win Texas, where Musk now lives, while Michigan, home to Ford and GM, and UAW support, United Auto Workers Union support, we'll talk more about these clowns in a moment, is key to Democratic victories both in upcoming midterm elections and in 2024. Picture this for a moment. Is it possible that the Biden administration is aware that there's many people who happen to be members of the United Auto Workers Union living in Michigan, an extremely critical state? Is it possible that they're making decisions specifically for their own political interest, basically attempting to buy votes? Is that possible? Just asking the question. If it is possible, wouldn't that seem a little bit corrupt? Rather than policies that are in the best interest of Americans, you're biased toward policies that are in the best interest of people you hope to vote for you so you can retain power in a key state. Just thinking out loud here. Now things get interesting. Even some Biden aides say they wish the boss would warm to Musk's company. Quote, bums me out as a satisfied Tesla owner, one said. The White House officials who spoke for this story all ask not to be identified because of the sensitivity of the issue. Think about this for a moment. Requesting anonymity, speaking to media about the administration's unwillingness to say the name of a company, an American company that's created thousands of jobs, that's revolutionized the transportation, the automotive industries. I totally understand if you're requesting anonymity, if you're talking about a criminal investigation, corruption. Corruption. Yeah, maybe that's why they don't want to. Okay, I understand now. So just to be clear, it is the opinion based on an incredible amount of evidence of this one random guy on YouTube that the Biden administration is incredibly, shamelessly, blatantly, flagrantly corrupt. Given the shamelessly corrupt nature of this administration, I believe over the next 2 to 3 years, the attacks on Tesla, the snubbing, things are going to get worse. This bias, these attacks, the corruption, the snubbing won't make any difference to Tesla's business over the long term. But I do want to discuss the potential implications. I'm going to explain what's happening. We're going to take the red pill here. We're going to see reality for what it is. And while the emphasis of this video is obviously Tesla, there's a far more important message here today. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Now, before we watch the next clip, I just want to make sure that everybody has this background information. We're looking at political contributions to the Democrats and the Republicans over the last 30 years from the United Auto Workers Union, the UAW. who currently has members working at Ford and General Motors. Something very curious happening here. Over the last 30 years, $1.5 million, $2.5 million plus dollars being donated. Look at this color, blue, 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 and red. Democrats in blue, Republicans in red. So for some strange, unusual, inexplicable reason, the union, members of which happen to work at Ford and General Motors, has been donating almost exclusively to a single political party for the last 30 years. I mean, kind of a little bit curious. Is it possible that these extremely biased donations may have brought any influence over the party? No, of course not. That'd be corruption. And speaking of corruption, we're now going to listen to a younger Joe Biden discussing corruption, admitting that he was willing to prostitute himself, but he was told, come back when you're a little bit older. Now we know he's a little bit older.
I want to say something else up front. I'm standing here because about 180 years ago, when I first got elected to the Senate, Gov, the UAW elected me. The UAW elected me.
Sorry, that was the wrong footage. What was he talking about there? I wonder why the President of the United States would have been captured on film saying into a microphone in front of people, knowing it was being recorded, that the United Auto Workers Union elected him. That's a weird thing. Anyway, let's show the actual clip. I meant to play it. That's totally irrelevant. I'm so sorry.
But I know who built the middle class, the unions. Unions built the middle class. Unions all across this country are good paying union jobs. Other union workers to work. Union made right here in America. Union made vehicles. They protect the right of workers to unionize and collectively bargain. Expanding union jobs. When I hear climate, I think jobs. Good paying union jobs.
So does anyone understand why he keeps saying union, 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 union? Union, 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 union. Just a coincidence, I'm assuming, and had nothing to do with the UAW electing him. Anyway, finally I found the actual clip. I'm so sorry about that. Ignore those, they have nothing to do with what I'm talking about on this video today. It's a total coincidence, because if they did have something to do with the video I was showing today, you guys and girls might get the impression I was painting an extremely clear picture that the UAW, the United Auto Workers Union, has bribed its way to completely owning the President of the United States and the entire Democratic Party. Which I'm definitely not saying. Actually, I am saying that. That's exactly what I'm saying. President has been bought. Democrats have been bought. The UAW has unreasonable influence over this party. Why? Because when you go to people, when you accept money, they always want something. So with that in mind, let's listen to this clip in full. I showed a little bit of this in the intro. Joe Biden back in 1974, pre-cognitive decline, discussing corruption. Pay very close attention to the words Biden uses. He even explicitly discusses the concept of taking money from labor unions, aka, you guessed it, United Auto Workers Union.
Since it's clear that you're not corrupt and you got elected, why should people think that the system produces corrupt results when there you are?
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. The system does produce corruption, and I think implicit in the system is corruption, when in fact, whether or not you can run for public office, and it costs a great deal of money to run for the United States Senate, even from a small state like Delaware, you have to go to those people who have money, and they always want something. I think it's the most degrading experience in the world to have to go out and ask for money, because you know that unless you accidentally agree with the position taken by the person or group that has the money, that you run the risk of deciding whether or not you're going to prostitute yourself to give the answer you know they want to hear in order to get funded to run for that office. I think full disclosure is essential. We have that now, allegedly. But that's not going to get to the question of how you have to raise the money and the influence of those who come forward with the money, whether they be a labor union or a corporate executive. If in fact you know that the only way you can raise any money to get to run for public office is to go to vested interest groups, then in fact you're put in the position that you have to begin to wonder whether or not you prostitute the ideas that you have about government in order to get the money to begin to run. Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason, see, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talk about it, but what happened was they said, come back when you're 40, son, and so I had to go out. So I had to go to a number of small contributors.
Do I even need to say a single fucking word?
Additional tax credit of $4,500 for union-made vehicles. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
So let's get this straight. 1974, Joe Biden, aka Brandon himself. By the way, if you haven't already, link in description. Let's Go Brandon merch is available. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, all sorts of other stuff until I get cancelled or they get pulled by somebody who gets butthurt. Decades ago, early in his political career, Joe Biden is openly discussing the fact that he was ready, he was willing to prostitute himself, take the money and do whatever he needs to appease the donors, aka the people paying him the political bribes, the donations, was literally willing to prostitute himself. These were his own words, but they knocked him back due to his youth. Said, come back later when you're older. Well, guess what? He's much older now, and it appears that he did come back and he's willing to do whatever it takes, including gaslighting the American public, which is where I take major issue with the current behavior. The Biden administration are actively attempting to mislead, deceive, and lie to the American public. They're lying about Tesla's lead. They're pretending that companies like General Motors and Ford are really leading the way. They're saying things in public, in press conferences, forever in the public record that are false about GM's leadership in the electric vehicle space when everybody knows this is Tesla. So not only are they attempting to rewrite the past, Tesla's been doing the hard work for the last 15 years. It wasn't GM, it wasn't Ford, but they're also attempting to write Tesla out of the history books. This is literally what's happening because, well, I don't know why, but maybe there's a connection between the UAW and the money and their behavior. Just thinking out loud again. The White House, the Biden administration, the Democrats are doing their utmost to completely remove Tesla from the conversation relating to electric vehicles, sustainability, and the environment. This is some 1984 shit right here, and the really sad thing is there's a lot of people around the world, but we're just talking about the United States here, who are pretty dumb. There's a lot of people who rely on the mainstream media as a source of information. They don't even know how far it skews to the left. They don't understand the political biases, the corruption behind the scenes. They have no idea what's going on. They just look to the television and assume that the Crisis News Network is broadcasting them the most accurate representation of things that happen today that matter, rather than putting their own spin, their opinions, censoring certain things, etc., and just painting a single narrative. These are the kind of folks who are being misled, lied to, gaslit by the president and the current Democratic Party of the United States. It's absolutely insane that this is happening out in the open so shamelessly. By the way, just some really quick thoughts on the mainstream media. If you are somebody who watches the mainstream media as your source of news, information, current events, what's happening in the world, you are an idiot or a dinosaur or both. Yep, offensive, also true. Now, after everything I've discussed in the video thus far, I want to show one final clip. This really makes my skin crawl.
Mr. Secretary, there's one car manufacturer that seems conspicuously absent from this event today, and that is Tesla. And I'm curious why.
I'm not sure, but what I know is that you're seeing so many leaders in industry. You got newer companies, and you've got the legacy companies that are both saying that we've got to move in this direction. The industry structure obviously is complex, and part of what's exciting is to see some of the oldest, most traditional names in U.S. auto manufacturing and some of the newest companies on the scene all acting in terms of the very core of their business to go electric.
But I don't know if did you see Elon Musk's tweet? He said, we have it on the screen here. He said, yeah, it seems odd that Tesla wasn't invited.
No, I haven't seen that. But look, we're excited about all of the momentum for making sure that Americans can drive electric vehicles going into the future. And by the way, we're moving toward a future where this is all across the market. I don't want there to be a perception that this is just for a kind of luxury thing, or that this is just for cars that you use to zip around cities. We're talking about everything from the kinds of cars that you've seen on the market already to pickup trucks getting more and more attention. And this is really the future, we believe, for the entirety of the American light-duty vehicle market.
It's just unbelievable. The president won't even mention the word Tesla. They're not being invited to events, stealing Tesla's valor, giving GM all of the credit for the hard work Tesla's done, refusing to engage with the company. There's total blackout on even saying the word Tesla. I didn't even get to mention the incredibly biased proposed $4,500 tax credit for consumers in the US buying union-made electric vehicles, which apparently even included union-made outside of the US, e.g. Ford makes their Mark E in Mexico, would have even helped those vehicles as well, Mexican-made EVs. Not sure how this helps Americans, but anyway, let's not go there. This is just a truly incredible brazen, flagrant form of political corruption right out there in the open. It's just mind-blowing that this is happening in the world in 2022. Of course, I don't believe this gaslighting, this lying, misleading to the United States public from the president, from the Democrats, is actually going to have any negative consequences for Tesla, other than a few people believing some total BS. But I am going to continue to call it out because it's just not right. And just finally, if there were ever a more perfect time to say it, I can't think of one. Let's go, Brandon. Don't forget, there's a link in the pinned comment for your own Let's Go Brandon merch. There's shirts, hoodies, mugs, phone cases, and loads more. And just finally, if you liked hearing my uncensored thoughts on a controversial topic, just a reminder to sign up to Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. You gain access to over 100 exclusive Q&As where I share my uncensored thoughts on a huge range of topics. See you over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.